Good afternoon, class. You are welcome to today's lecture, CSC 202. We will be looking at today's study session 2. Now, today's topic is basic syntax and rules in Python and PHP. And the last time we discussed, we compare and we contrast between the two programming languages, which are Python and PHP. So we look into the differences and the similarities, the facts, the discussion, the questions about Python and PHP in the last lecture, which is the study session 1. Today's one, we'll be looking at basic syntax and rule in Python and PHP. So we'll look into the Python today, and next class we'll look into the basic syntax and rule in PHP. So when we talk about basic syntax and rule, we have discussed almost everything in Python in 201, but let me just brief us again. When we talk about basic syntax and rule in programming languages, we are talking about, especially in Python and PHP, we are referring to the fundamental structure and guidelines that follow for writing code, for writing our code to run correctly. There is a need for us to follow structures, some fundamental structures that carry for each of the programming languages, and guidelines that follow it, so that for us to write the code, and when we are running it, we're able to run it, it will be able to run correctly. That is what we mean by the basic syntax and rule in Python and PHP in our programming languages. And every language has its own rules for how you can write your code. It has its own rule, its own basic rule, basic syntax on how you can write code. So, and such as how you can write maybe your variables, write variable, and how to end a statement, and how to define a function. So now if there is a need for us to break these rules, so that our program can run effectively, it can run well, so that it will not give us. That is what we mean by basic syntax and rule in programming languages. So from the introduction, the syntax of a programming language is a set of rules, I've said it earlier, that define what the various combination of symbols means. So there are rules, they are laid down rules and guidelines that you must follow, so for you to write your code effectively. So, and this tells the computer how to read the code. So now, syntax refer to the concept in writing code dealing with a very specific set of words and a very specific order to those words when instructions are given to the computer. So syntax, as we all know, that is referred to as concept in writing programming, writing code, and so dealing with a very specific set of words. There are a set of words that is dealing with, and a very specific order to those words when instructions are given to the computer. Of the complex number, making complex number, and using the real type, the imaginary type, and how they use assigning value to a variable, and how they initialize a variable. We can see from the example 2.1 underneath. Information about a program, such as the author and date or place. So that is used to document information about a program written, such as the author and date or place. And as well, is used, comment used to turn off a portion of code temporarily or permanently. And another thing we'll be looking at is Python input and output and command line interaction. So we'll be looking at the input IO and command line interaction. So normal mode. So that is what we can, that is the two type of mode that we have in Python. We have the interactive mode and we have the code/normal mode. And that of the interactive mode, they allow user to type command into a SharePoint, and that SharePoint can be DOS-like interface. So the interactive mode point in this interactive mode, it point for the next command with the primary point, and it's usually having starting with three greater than sign. So interactive mode always starts with three greater than sign. So when you come up, you want to start with your, maybe you are in your working environment in Python, you want to start your code, you want to start writing your program, it will start with three greater than sign. So it will start with three greater than sign. That is the sign that it will come up with. So for continuation, like it points with the secondary point by default three dot. So the interpreter then prints a welcome message stating its version number and a copyright notice before printing the first point. So the interpreter prints a welcome message, as we can see from the box here. From the box here as an example, the interpreter prints a welcome message stating the version of the Python we are using, that we are currently working on, and the copyright notice before printing the first point. So, and we now have another type of mode, which is the code/normal mode. And the code/normal mode, while the interactive mode is appropriate for short scripting tasks or coding, the code mode provides an environment for writing long and complete programs. So that of the interactive mode is very good for short scripting, coding or tasks. But that of the code/normal mode is very good in writing long and complete program. If you want to write a long and complete program, that the program will start and end, it must be under code/normal mode. The code mode provides code highlighting. It provides code highlighting, intelligent and auto suggestion feature, and we can see it from the box here. The example from the box here is how they wrote code/normal mode. You can see it there. And as well, the interactive mode can be used as a calculator. We can use this as a calculator to write a calculator app. So, and as a tool for testing line of code, it can as well be used to test line of code, or for writing simple system administration scripting. So it can be used for writing simple system administration scripting. So we can see example below here. For the example is here using we have example of how they wrote code/normal. One we need to look at displaying code output. When we say display code output, make use of the print keyword. You know, when we print our code, our program that we have initialized or that we have written. So when we put print keyword, it display the output. It display the program output. So we can see from the example. So print keyword always display when we use it. It's always display program output. So let's see from the example below here how function str is used to convert the integer variable a to a string. So we can see the integer variable here converting to a string, wole as a double quote. So, and that of the integer variable age that of the function sta string, and that of the variable integer variable age. So and we print the name, we have Wole. We print the name age, we have Wole and 56 as the age, name Wole, age 56. So that is the output, the result of the program output, Wole 56 as. And as well, raw input function return primarily string value and must be converted to appropriate type using either int or float. So raw input function always return string values, and when it returns string values, it must be converted to the appropriate type you want, either int or float function. So we see the example below. It can even be string function, as the case may be. So we can see the example of a matric number, matric. So the raw input, we input from the keyboard that what is your matric number, and what is your, we provide your matric number, and we print the matric, and we print the matric, it generate the matric out. So the same way score test, we run input from the keyword what is your test score. So and we insert the test score. So and the score example. So we studied that because we have gone through that in 201, and I said from the last lecture that is the prerequisite for 2 line interface. That ends for today. We continue to look at PHP, the basic syntax and rule in PHP in the next class. Thanks.